What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I got a little bit of a project going on here. I feel maybe some of you might be interested in checking out if you might be thinking of doing something like this on your vehicle. Today I'm working on the Jeep. I'm at my job here, so I could use a lift because I did change an O2 sensor, which was an eventful nightmare, which I didn't feel like doing a video on that because it would have went horribly all backward, all wrong, just craziness. But also I re-welded up a section of the exhaust a little higher so it doesn't hang too low, which again, a little crazy. And a little bit of touch-up stuff underneath, which I got to do more of. So I'm going to eventually just do another video of that some more as I get more paint. But this is a little bit more involved because it has to be done more particular and a little more in depth. What I got here today, I have these horribly ugly carbon fiber fake plastic hood vents to help heat escape from your engine bay. And going to be putting one in generally there, one there, and the other one here. Now this is a one-time deal, so once you go too far, there's no turning back, which is why it's very, 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 very important to measure 16 times and cut once. You got to make sure all your measurements are right. So you can go from all your body lines you need to, front of the hood to whatever, your back of the hood measurements. And if you have more of a curved back of your hood like this, you could take a measurement here, go in a little more, take another measurement, another measurement over here, and go every couple little bit so you can get your inches and then mark it where you need it so that everything is lined up. And then the same thing with this, like see here, there's a body line on the hood here. So I went in from that body line all the way from the top of the hood down to the hood, so I can get exactly my placement on where I need it and have it exactly in the same place on both sides of the hood, there and there. This is why doing something like this and cutting into your factory hood is so important. Another thing that's very important about this, I'll show you, and it's also another reason why I put them right in this particular location, is where they're at there to under the hood is going to keep them right about here, which is in line here, so they're not getting water dripped on my fuse box or all the way too much this way, getting water on my distributor cap. It'll be right directly in the center, so where no water will get on either electrical device. Also on this side, putting it center keeps it away from fuel injector wiring or anything that may be over here. So placement is another reason why you got to make sure you're going to go where you want them before you cut things, because a lot of these, and even on the factory Jeeps, the 5.9 Grand Cherokee ZJs have the hood vents more over here, which, if you remember, right in this location was the fuse box, which is why I don't understand why I buy on GM. Oh, wow. Chrysler. I don't understand why Chrysler put them right here in a location. So, because those factory vents on the Grand Cherokee ZJ 5.9 liter limiteds, Those were functional vents. They did help release hot air from the engine bay. But why they were over here in direct location for your electricals, to short your electricals out, was beyond me. And I see also a lot of people that have these Jeeps, even the XJs, I'll see them post or cut the holes and put their vents. The XJ is more toward the center like I'm doing, but more thus the Grand Cherokees, I see them put off to the side here, which, I don't know, to each is their own. But personally, me, I like to do things in a more functional manner. So for me, it was best for me to put them on the inside of the body line instead of the outside. Therefore, number one, they're in direct line of where the main heat's going to be. Your engine block there, your intake in your exhaust on this side. You're going to release, that's where the most of the heat is closest to the engine itself. So if you could have those vents in more direct in line with the engine where all the heat is versus off to the side over here, you're going to do more helping with cooling, putting them closer to the engine. But at the same time, you don't want them too close to the engine where you're going to, if water does get in, you get water all over your electronics. And you don't want them too far off to the side where your other electronics are. So that is exactly why I planned ahead of time before I went and jumped into this, where I wanted to place these hood vents. Because I thought long and hard about it, because I wanted to have them in a nice, good enough place to where they're going to be functional, but they're also not going to cause problems. So that being said, I got them in the right place that I want. And their measurements are all exactly the same, which is why it's so important to measure 17 times and cut once, because once you cut that hole, that's it. And another thing you're going to want to do, because you see these vents here, they have a 1/2 inch that sticks out for the, if you decide to either 3M double side tape them or drill holes and put rivets or screws, however you want to mount them. To each is their own. Again, you can do it how you want to do it. But again, being that there is that 1/2 inch room there, you don't want to cut the hole on the outside. You want to go 1/2 inch in, not right to the edge, or your vent will fall right through the hole and you'll be screwed. Which is why I drew the outside line, then I measured a 1/2 inch in all the way up, so I could cut the inside line open and still have this 1/2 inch of lip here for this to sit on, so it doesn't fall into the engine bay. That's another reason. See, like I said, it's so important when doing something like this to measure. The saying is measure twice, cut once. In this case, because once it's done, and if you screw it up, it's so easy to screw it up and cut it the wrong dimensions that you're screwed after. I mean, you can, if you have a welder and you know how to weld, you could always weld metal back on and then cut the excess off of whatever you need. But that's just too much work, and at that point you're causing more problems for yourself than harm. And if you don't have another hood to redo all this all over again, you're screwed again. So it's just better insurance to measure and measure and measure and measure. I can't emphasize enough. Measure it 17, 20, 50 times, however many you need to, and cut it once, and then you'll be good to go. That being said, I got my measuring set. I'm going to grab my cutoff tool, my cutoff wheel, and I'm going to get started here. I'll catch you guys back in a second. It's going to get a little loud in here, so please forgive me. And yeah, also so important when doing this, wear your proper eye protection. Goes a long way. Gotta protect your eyes. They're the only eyes you have. They're the only eyes you get. So, got my shield here. Get this out the way. And here we go. And again, I'm going to go along the inside line. All right, that's partially one hole cut. Now, this is where you're going to see your underlinings, which if you, like I was saying, planned everything ahead of time as to where you're going to put it, you'll know what exactly is underneath where you're going to cut, so you don't purposely cut into anything you don't need being cut into, or you don't want to have cut into. Obviously, if you cut into a little bit of your frame, that's fine, because you're going to find with these, and if that's something you're not okay with, then this isn't for you, because you're going to see these don't still stick down in place. So I'm going to have to do some kind of little bit of trimming to these frame parts, so this way I can have enough room for that to sit down where it needs to sit. There you go. Now the camera's showing. But yeah, so now so it could sit where it's going to sit. But that's the case there. So I got a little more cutting to go. Then I got to start on the other side still. Catch back up to you in a second. All right, now as you can see, I did both. I cut both out, and I started the rough cuts for the frame here. So now, I left most of the frame still there and intact, which is what I wanted. So this way, it still has structural rigidity in the hood. But I have this here, the area I need for the cutout I need for the fence over there to fit in. Now that, as you can see, I trimmed them there and there. So what I got to do now is open the hood. I'll have to open the hood, get this liner out the way, or at least cut this area of the liner out around those. Maybe put a trim with the razor blade or something, cut them along this area so I can see where all in here from underneath the hood, and I'll know where I got to finish cutting so I could have that opened up. But here we go. Alright, I gotta trim a little more. Not exactly trimmed exactly where I need it. All right. Now, if all the measurements and cutting was right, as you can see it's notched out there and notched out there. This, wrong side, the right side one, bam, nice and flush. And that's what we do this for, baby. Yeah. Now what it would look like underneath the hood, just to throw a piece of tape on there to hold it so we could see. Bam, there's your vent. Now we can, if we really wanted to, cut that some more. Because it's going to sit about here, and that front vent really actually isn't going to really vent much out. So I could cut more of that back if I wanted, or I could just leave what's here and it would still work, because it's going to have that. That's if I don't want to get rid of more of the structure. All right, so one side's down. Now for the next side. And like I said, I did measure this 100%, so as you can see, it's not going to affect the hood light. But anyway, that's pretty much what that's going to be like. So let me finish up this side, and then I'll jump on back on the other side. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you throw hood vents in. You want them to all to be 100% functional and get the best function out of them. You want all of your vents, or if you're going to hood scoop, you want most of the main area of where the air is getting scooped to or through to be open. Yeah. And there you go. See, I even get my hood light still wired, still good and functioning. But that's how you do it, pretty much. Now all I have left pretty much is to either decide if I'm gonna use a 3M tape to put them on, or hood fasteners, either or. I might even use a combination of both, just so it's a little stronger. But that's pretty much it. I will record another video, finish the video again in a second. Okay, here's the plan I come up with. Now, this is the tape I'm using, 3M 1/4 inch, there's your part number, double-sided tape. Now I double-sided taped both the the underside, so whenever I peel the other red part off, it'll sit right where I need it to sit and not move. Then from there, for extra strength and extra fastening sake, so it's not coming off, and I know it's not going to come off, I'll drill holes and put some small black sheet metal screws as well. But I'm not doing that until after I get these painted. So, that being said, I'm going to spray them quick, let them dry, and then I'll mount them up. Alright, now for paint, I got them all scuffed with a red Scotch pad, and I waxed and degreased them so that there are no slimy stuff on them or nothing to hopefully not make them fisheye or whatever. And for paint, I'm going to use SEM, the charcoal metallic colored trim black, and I'm gonna just put a couple coats and see how it goes. And just holding it back far enough to dust it on for a first coat, because I don't want to put it on heavy. You might have to put a couple coats because I could still see the carbon fiber through it. So I'm going to let this sit, put on a few more coats in between each coat, let it sit and dry, and we'll check them out when they're done. Well, I was going to use rattle can clear, but you got the access to a good clear gun and some good clear, use good clear and good spray gun. Alright, you're not going to hear me over the booth that well, but that looks a lot better. Now, just got to let them dry. I'm going to throw them on a quick little bake cycle, and when they come off, we'll put them on the truck and see what it looks like. Alrighty, well, here we go. That is the finished product. All painted up, all cleared, all mounted, ready to rock. And they actually kind of almost match the cladding. They're a little bit darker, but that's fine because I'm going to spray the bumpers and all the cladding and all that a little darker too anyway. Somewhat sort of the shade. As you can see the metallics in it. There you go. Now you can see the metallics. But there you go. That's it, you know. That's exactly what I wanted to go for. Looks good. I like it. I'm happy. Very happy with the turnout. Now to do a little bit more to the Jeep here and there, and it'll be cool. I think either the mirrors down the road I'll paint red to match the body, and then the cladding and bumpers I'll keep all darker metallic gray. I'm actually gonna paint them. I'm going to leave them gray, but I'm going to have them painted gray instead of bare plastic like they are from the factory. So it dresses the Jeep up a little bit more and makes it look more nice. The mirrors I'm either going to do red or I'll do the mirrors the same gray as the cladding. I don't know yet. And I got another set of wheels for it at home, which you will see in another video because I will be taking this buffer home, little mini buffer, and I'm charging the battery now, and I'm going to buff out those wheels a bit. But yeah, that's that, everybody. Thank you for watching. Please like the video if this was cool or helpful or entertaining or whatever. Okay, like, comment, subscribe. As always, hope you enjoy, and I will catch you all on the next one.